Hello dear students and welcome to quiz 1A correction on YouTube. I hope you are all doing well as we prepare to launch this academic year in this mathematics preparation. We'll just go directly to the questions, and question 1 reads, the symbol indicated represents. Now whenever this symbol points to the left, it is read as less than. To the right, it is greater than. If it points to the left with a bar under, it is read less than or equal to. And if it points to the right with a bar under, it is read greater than or equal to. So the key to this question is less than or equal to. Question 2. Base 10 numbers are called, all base 10 numbers are called decimal numbers. And these decimal numbers are, you have 0, 1, 2, 3, up to 9. 10, 11, and so on are not numbers or digits in base 10. Binary numbers are base 2, octal numbers are base 8, and hexadecimal are base 16. Question 3. The set of cardinal numbers is represented as. In the past lesson, I explained to you that cardinal numbers is another way of saying natural numbers. So whenever you hear of cardinal numbers, you think of natural numbers, because we mostly talk about the cardinality of a set, which you did in Form 3 and we're revising in Form 5 as well. Then Z represents a set of integers and R is a set of real numbers, while Q is a set of rational numbers, also called fractions. So we have integers Z, real numbers R, and rational numbers or fractions Q. 4. Which of these is a decimal fraction? A decimal fraction is a fraction whose denominator is a power of 10. That means the denominator can be 10, 100, 1000, 10,000, and so on. And the only decimal fraction here is 4 on 10. Question 5. Fractions whose denominators are powers of 10 are known as. When the denominator of a fraction is a power of 10, then it should be binary. And note that the binary digits are 0 and 1. Proper fractions, numerator is less than denominator. Decimal fractions, their bases are base 10, and vulgar fractions are the normal fractions that we know. Which of these alternatives is correct? The first one, naturals are subsets of naturals excluding 0. No. Rationals are superset of real numbers. No. 37 is not a fraction. No. Z star is equal to n. Well, looking at all these alternatives, there is no correct answer. For the first one, if they reverse the sign, it would have been correct. For the second, if they reverse the sign, it could have equally been correct. For the third, if they remove the bar and make it an element, it will be correct. And for the last one, if they add a plus after the Z, then it will equally be correct. For the last one, rather, if they replace the star by a plus, then it will be this, they will be the same. Question 7. 3 less than x less than or equal to 10 is written in interval notation as. With this question, you must note that the 3 is not included while 10 is included. So at the beginning, since 3 is not included, the capital, the bracket is, or the square bracket is open. It is open, it means the 3 is not inside. And since 10 is included, it is closed. So it's represented that way, as you can see it being indicated. Question 8. The smallest number that is divisible by 6 and 18 is, that's just the LCM, and it's 18. Question, the only prime number here is 2. A prime number is a number that has just 2 factors, 1 and itself. 1 is not a prime number. 4 is a composite number, as well as 0. Please make sure you register and visit our YouTube page for corrections of this quiz and corrections of other past mathematics questions. We will equally be including physics as well for those who offer physics. And don't forget to visit our blog on www.gcemathspanel.blogspot.com, where we have our online page for the weekly quiz, weekly lessons, and the monthly mocks. Our complete program is on this page. You have to scan through the page to look for the program. Please don't forget to subscribe. Question 11. The temperature of a room at midday is 21 degrees Celsius and rises steadily by 1 degree Celsius at intervals of 15 minutes. What will be the temperature at 1:30 p.m. in degrees Celsius? So this question can be answered in two ways. The first way, we have at midday it is 21 degrees, at 12:15 it is 22, 12:30 is 23, 12:45 is 24, 1 o'clock is 25 degrees Celsius, 1:15 is 26 degrees Celsius, and at 1:30 it is 27 degrees Celsius, and that's the answer. Equally, we can do it this way. From 12 noon to 1:30 p.m., it is 1 hour 30 minutes, and this corresponds to 90 minutes. This 90 minutes, when divided by the 15, gives us 6 degrees increase. That is 6 intervals. And when we add the 6 degrees to 21, it gives us 27 degrees Celsius. 12, root 45 can be written as, we simplified this in a previous lesson. As for those who have gone through the lesson, if you have not gone through the lesson, visit the website and get a copy of the PDF and have an idea on what to do here. Root 45 is the same as root 9 times root 5, but root 9 is actually a square number. That gives us 3, so we leave it as 3 root 5. So it can be written as 3 root 5. Question 13. P root 2 equals root 72, and then the value of P is, here we can just divide both sides by root 2, and that will give us P to be equal to root 72 divided by root 2. And from the laws of roots, root 72 and root 2 can be written as root 72 over 2, and that gives us the square root of 36, which is equal to 6. The next question reads, the natural number here is, note that natural numbers are whole numbers and they are equally positive numbers, so they are positive whole numbers, and the only natural number here is 0. Question 15. Electric poles are 100 meters apart on a line. If the distance between n poles is 500 meters, find n. There is a lot of trick in this question, and many students will just look at the question and tick 5. There is a trick in it. The answer is not 5. Let's see what happens. Now let us line these poles and see. This is the first pole, the second pole, the third, the fourth, the fifth, and the sixth. You see that this 500 meters distance corresponds to 6 poles. Note, the first pole begins, so it might not be counted. The first 100 meters is from the second pole and so on up to the sixth. So this total distance of 500 meters consists of 6 poles. Equally, you can say 500 divided by 100 plus 1, and that is going to give you the 6 poles as well. Question 16. The reciprocal of 5 is, the reciprocal of a number is just 1 over that number. So that gives us 1 on 5, and the key here is D. Then you equally have question 17. We have the additive identity element in the set of n is, recall that n is a set of natural numbers. And the additive identity element is that number that when you add to any number, it leaves the number unchanged. And only 0 has that property. So our key here is 0. Question 18. The multiplicative inverse of minus 5 is, note that the multiplicative inverse is just the same as the reciprocal of that number. And when you multiply a number by its multiplicative inverse, the result should be equal to 1. So 1 divided by minus 5 gives us minus 1/5. And this is the multiplicative inverse of minus 5. Question 10. The property that a plus b equals b plus a indicates that addition is, in the previous lesson as I mentioned before, this is the commutative property, also called commutativity. So the only answer here is C, commutativity or commutative property. Question 20. Which of these basic operations is distributive? Multiplication is distributive over addition and subtraction, and only multiplication has this property. For example, a into b plus c is the same as a times b plus a times c. And you can see that example, the same with subtraction, if you replace the plus by minus. And don't forget equally to register for this GCE Math panel online as we have started, because when we go far, we will not really have time to be going back to students who will be coming in late. And our characteristics of these lessons or of this panel are: you have monthly prepayments, weekly quizzes, monthly mocks. It is economical. You can contact us on WhatsApp to start, and subscribe on YouTube to watch all of our videos, our quizzes, and so on, or get to our blog to have the complete information. Question 1 reads: which of these is not binary digits? Note that binary digits are only zeros and ones. Those are only two binary digits. So 2 and 3 here are not binary digits. Question 22. A bag contains 400 sweets, and at the end of every 30 minutes, a half of the contents is removed. How many sweets will be left in 2 hours? This question can be answered in 2 ways, just like the other question I just explained. At the end of these 2 hours, 25 sweets will be left. So at the beginning, that is at the 0th hour, we have 400 sweets. In the next 30 minutes, a half is removed, so we have 200 sweets left. Then the next 30 minutes, 100 sweets are removed, that's a half of 200. At 1 hour 30 minutes, a half of 100 is 50, and at 2 hours, a half of 50 is 25. So we are left with 25 sweets. Or you can equally say that 2 hours corresponds to 4 intervals of 30 minutes, and that gives us 4 intervals. So a half to the power 4, because they are emptying a half of the sweet. So you have a half to the power 4 times the total at the beginning, and that gives us 25 sweets. And recall, this is exactly like a geometric progression, which we are going to see in subsequent lessons. Question 23. Which of these is a triangular number? A triangular number is a number whose pattern can be represented using dots that forms a triangle. For example, let's take 10. You have 1, 2, 3, and 4. That gives us 10. It can be represented using a triangle. Then you equally have 12, which can be represented using a rectangular number pattern or a square. Note that a square is a special type of rectangle in which all the sides are equal. Then we equally have 9, which is the same like a rectangle, which is the same rectangular number, as well as 12. Note, 10 can equally be represented as a rectangular number, but it is the only number here that can be represented as well as a triangular number. Question 24. Arrange in descending order of size. Descending order means going down, so from the biggest to the smallest. And when you look at this, the biggest number here from all of these numbers is root 0.5. And that gives us a value of 0.71. The next smaller number here is 0.69. The next is 68% or 0.68. And the last one is 2/3 or 0.67. So it is good we write all of them in decimal, and we can easily compare from there. And the last question reads: simplify 0.24 times 1.25 divided by 0.57 minus 0.09. Here you must note, this is a tricky question, and many students just go like this: 0.24 times 1.25 divided by 0.57 minus 0. You are going to fail it because it's a trick. What you have to do here is, you have to first of all simplify the numerator separately and simplify the denominator as well. Then we now combine the results. So from the numerator we have 0.3, and from the denominator we have 0.48. And when we divide this, we have 0.625 as our answer. Thank you so much, and stay tuned for the best is to come. Don't forget to subscribe and to register for our math panel online, which we have already started, and we'll be rounding up soon. Thank you so much, and bye-bye. I have been Dr. Myers, your host.